Join them now in game number 3. We see Jadine. Actually, she's the one with poison on her. 4 pieces of it from Inkmoth Nexus.
Getting a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah.
Or rather, the opposite of medicine. Couple Tom Ross tokens.
4 poison there. So she has 4 lands in play, no creatures, but she does have an Inkmoth Nexus. On Bryson's side, he has a creature, I guess. It's an Ornithopter. So really both players, an Inkmoth Nexus on each side.
Yeah, and you look over to Patterson's graveyard, you see a copy of Whip Flare hanging out over there.
Love it.
Very strong in this matchup. Looks like it took care of a Glistener Elf here.
Pair of cards in hand for each player. Now this matchup is actually pretty interesting. I know a lot of the Infect players I talk to believe it to be, they are fine with this matchup, believe it to be favorable, but both decks very powerful.
The thing about Affinity versus other decks is it's quite good at blocking Inkmoth Nexus.
Right.
Copies of Inkmoth Nexus of its own, that way you get to put the poison counter on the Inkmoth Nexus so it can't be animated again. Blinkmoth Nexus also just a 1/1 flying blocker. Ornithopter can even soak up 2 hits as long as the Nexus doesn't get pumped.
Heads up play here from Jadine. So it's a cranial plating from Patterson. And normally you'd think that Jadine would wait and image the Ornithopter if Patterson went to equip. But she's doing something different. With the cranial plating on the stack, she's going to twisted image the Ornithopter. That will kill it. And that is Bryson's 3rd artifact. So now, once the plating resolves, that Mox Opal will not make mana unless Bryson activates the Inkmoth, which means no attack.
Yep. Really heads up by play by Jadine there.
That is something you would not see out of most players.
Yes.
So now the plating resolves.
It's not just no attacks, it's no blocks. Jadine here has her own Inkmoth Nexus that she does not want to engage in combat with Bryson's. She believes that hers can kill faster than his.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even have a blocker this turn, you're right.
Yep.
So correction here, Bryson does have 1 poison on him, and we now see that updated on the screen.
And for Infect, as Brian Kibler used to say playing the deck in Standard, the first cut is the deepest. Of course, he was referring to proliferating, but when you're talking about Infect in Modern, Become Immense, plus any +2 spell, Blossoming Defense, the kind of pump spell du jour currently, that's 9 poison.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, so the life totals, 1 poison for Bryson, 4 from Jadine, but that's not really telling the story in a fair way at all. Right. If they start racing, Jadine's going to win.
Yep. So if Bryson's able to get up to 4 artifacts, which is kind of the reasonable range we're looking at given his current board position, he could put Jadine to 8 reasonably. Jadine fairly likely to just kill Patterson on the following turn here.
So I do want to, while these players decide what their move here. Yeah, Jadine's pointing out you can't tap the Opal. There was some talks to whether or not Affinity would be playing some cards from Kaladesh. Maybe something like Smuggler's Copter. None of those in Bryson's deck, but he is playing 1 copy of the rare Animation module from Kaladesh. That's the 1 mana artifact that says whenever a 1/1 counter is placed on a creature you control, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 servo into play.
That's kind of a combo with Arcbound Ravager.
It's really good. Yeah, I was going to say in Standard or Limited, because that's what I've been playing a lot of, it's good with Syndicate Trafficker, the rare from Kaladesh. It sounds a lot better with Arcbound Ravager.
Yeah. Man, I'm kind of bummed that that's not what we're seeing right now. That's
yeah,
a really
that's great.
cool interaction.
I hadn't thought of that until oh wow, I really want to see that.
Yeah.
That's just pay 1, get a 1/1 counter on Arcbound Ravager.
Yeah.
With Steel Overseer? Oh wait. Oh wow. Hold on. If Steel Overseer taps.
Oh geez.
Oh my goodness.
You
get a counter on all your guys, then you tap all your mana, make more guys. You can just oh wow. I want to play 4 of these in Affinity now. I just want to go off.
On the other side of, oh wow, Noble Hierarch for Jadine, she has the Pendlehaven, those 2 pumps plus a Become Immense that could be lethal this turn.
So it's going to go ahead and Exalt up to a 2/2. It looks like Jadine's actually leaving back this Pendlehaven.
There's 2 cards she can be concerned about. Gutshot, which the coast is clear when the Exalted trigger resolves, or Dismember. I think that it is wise to play around Dismember in this window.
So she's, Exalted Trigger in the stack, Exalted Trigger works. So now it's a 2/2. She is losing an Infect, but a point of damage here. But I guess if she doesn't have lethal, it's probably not actually going to change the number of turns it takes to kill Bryson.
Given the resources available to Bryson, the odds of Jadine dying on the following turn are almost 0.
Yeah, 2 poison onto Bryson, a pass back.
He only has 1 card in hand, draws up to his 2nd card here.
Boom, it's another Ornithopter.
So here, he could have 4 artifacts plus Inkmoth Nexus. That only gets him to 5. That would only put Jadine to 9 poison.
I'm tunneling on this animation module. It's stuff like that that makes me want to play Affinity. Oh, it feels more like a combo. Oh, sweet, combos. Let's do this now.
Well, it is telling that he only plays 1 copy. It doesn't do anything without these other cards, right?
Maybe we have to play Arcbound Worker. We got to go back to old school. All these one was kind of written to make a themed deck.
You could retool the deck.
I bet it's bad, and I'm just gonna mess up my Affinity list.
Yeah, Affinity does not generate enough mana to really take advantage of spewing a bunch of 1/1s.
We can play Disciple of the Vault with it. We could combo kill him. Activate of Inkmoth. Mox Opal equips the plating to Inkmoth for Bryson. So artifact count quickly here. 4 on the board. This is a swing of 5 poison. It's not actually lethal. It put Jadine to 9.
And now you got to ask if Jadine has a Dismember of her on her side.
Right, she has 4 cards in hand. He's got to be concerned.
Or how about a Nature's Claim? Even better.
We'll see if she chooses the land or the plating.
The plating looks to be the much larger threat here.
All right.
Not only on the attacks, but also the plating can move over to the Ornithopter as a blocker and shut off this Inkmoth Nexus assault that Jadine has.
You're right. She does blow up the plating. This is actually really interesting. So you're wondering why would she do this now and not let him move into combat, right? So 3 copies in Bryson's main deck of the card Stubborn Denial. And you see how Jadine has left up 1 mana. If she does it now, she could pay for Stubborn Denial, but if she lets him equip it, she might lose the game to it.
Love it.
And now Bryson just passes back. It's this detail work on Jadine's side that is so impressive here.
And when people talk about Modern being an uninteractive format, I'm going to send them the way of this match.
Yeah.
A lot of really tight, smart play happening here.
And it's stuff that I think if you don't know Modern really well, you'd miss that it was happening.
Yes, 100%.
You'd walk away from this game being like, oh yeah, I just did the infect thing. You're like, whoa, no. There's a lot of really subtle things going on.
There were outs in your deck to sloppy play from Jadine here, and she respected and played around everything in a way that you could not expect all of your opponents to do. 4
cards drawing up to 5 for Jadine. She plays land 5. It's a Verdant Catacombs. She goes and gets Breeding Pool for a 2nd blue source. And now Inkmoth Nexus back to work. This time, Pendelhaven will make it a 2/3. Then she's going to go for a pump spell. It's a Distortion Strike. So now it is 3 power and unblockable.
And that'll stop this Inkmoth Nexus on Patterson's side from getting in the way.
Okay.
Or the Ornithopter from jump blocking.
Swing, it's going to exalt to a 4/4. Now she'll Mutagenic Growth it. That's up to a 6/6. Now Mutagenic Growth it up to a lethal. And it's only an Opal from Patterson. So game and match for Jadine Klomparens. Moving from black-green over to Infect looks like no problem. She takes care of the match with some well-practiced play.
Infect is a very popular deck in Modern. But the difference between watching Jadine Klomparens, Tom Ross, or just anybody playing Infect is phenomenal. I love it when you have a great Infect player on camera. So many subtleties.
This deck